hyper-realistic cake should I make next? Is what I asked you guys a couple weeks ago. Because sometimes I need a little help coming up with ideas. So I placed 5 of your ideas into this hat, and I chose one at random to make into a cake. That's how I ended up making this water bottle cake. Well, ever since that day, I haven't stopped thinking about this one suggestion that didn't make it into the hat. It's been haunting me ever since. Because this suggestion is so good that it's the most liked suggestion of all the suggestions. Are you ready to hear what it is? Come here, a little closer. It's a light bulb. I can do this. Get it together, Natalie. Okay. The reason that I'm kind of freaking out is because making a light bulb cake is something that I've wanted to do for years now. But I know it's gonna be really, really hard. And not only am I gonna turn a cake into a light bulb, I'm also gonna make it light up. I will not let you guys down. I'm gonna take on this cake challenge. My name is Natalie Sideserf, and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today, I'm gonna make a cake of a light bulb that lights up. So the first thing I did was go to the store to buy a light bulb. I was surprised how many different kinds of light bulbs there are. You've got the traditional glass, twisty guy, big honkin' light bulb. I decided to go with a more updated current light bulb, the plastic kind. And that's a good thing because the first thing I did was drop it on the table. Well, it's a good thing I chose plastic. Would have ended up with a broken light bulb. I want this light bulb to be perfect, so the first thing I'm gonna do is make a mold with some molding putty. Here you can see we have a working time of 3 minutes, which is not very long. Gonna have to work fast, like a pro. I'm a pro, I can do this. 3 minutes isn't enough time. Come on, putty, slow down. And now I mix equal parts blue with white. It's a battle, blue versus white. Actually, they're more like a team. They're best buds. So now I'm wrapping it around the bottom of the light bulb. Just the bottom. I'll worry about the top later. I really gotta try to smash it on there. I don't want any air bubbles. And there you have it, with about 30 seconds to spare. I'm a pro. I want to use gelatin for the top of the light bulb. If you guys have been around, you've noticed that I've been having a little trouble trying to find a gelatin that doesn't have a yellow tint. Gelatin just has a yellow tint, naturally. But there are brands out there that claim that they do not have a yellow tint. Sometimes they might be exaggerating a little. So I did a little research and I found this brand that claims to be clear. Well, we'll be the judge of that, right? I really want this light bulb to be white and not yellow. So let's see what we're working with. Let's open her up and have a look, and that is white. That is looking really white. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. This looks more white than usual. This is good. This gelatin is promising. The directions say to boil water, pour it into a bowl, and then add the white powder. This is not how I've ever made gelatin ever, and I've made gelatin like hundreds of times. So this gelatin's a little different. I'm sure it's fine. Let's go check on our mold while we let it cool down. All right, the mold is firm, which is exactly what we want. Now we just gotta get that light bulb out of there. Doesn't seem to want to come out. Guess what I just realized? This is a light bulb. I gotta unscrew it. It came right out. How funny is that? How many Natalies does it take to unscrew a light bulb? So this mold is looking very good. Nice and smooth. Nice. Now I gotta fill it up with chocolate up to this line here. So let's do it. Let's get started. Let's melt some chocolate. So the chocolate that I'm going to use are candy melts, because candy melts are very easy to melt. You don't have to be too picky with the temperature. Candy melts typically come in a 1-pound bag of individual wafers. Usually that's what they come in, but apparently not today. This here is just one big old chunk. Oh look, you can see the little wafers. It's like a little wafer graveyard. Rip, little wafers. So this clearly used to be wafers, but they all melted together. To be fair, it is summer. And I'm not surprised they melted. But honestly, that's okay, because guess what? All I'm gonna do is melt them down anyway. It doesn't matter if it's a chunk or little pieces. See, look, it's beautifully melted. Look at that, nice and smooth. Now let's fill up our mold. Now I don't want this to be a solid piece of chocolate. I just want it to be like an outside shell. That way I can shove some cake in there. So I'm just working it around the sides. Now I let it sit and get back to room temperature. I want the top of this light bulb to be made out of gelatin. So now I'm making a mold. The same way I made a mold of the bottom of the light bulb, only now it's the top. Let's bring blue and white back together again. Best buds. I'm glad I'm able to put cake in the bottom of the light bulb, the chocolate part, because I definitely won't be able to put it in the top of the light bulb because it's made of gelatin. So the cake would get all like soggy and gross. So this bulb is the bulb of choice. And so far, everything is going according to plan. The only thing I'm worried about is the gelatin, which we're about to work on right now. So the top of the light bulb obviously isn't clear, so I am adding a little bit of white food color. This is where we're gonna find out if there's a yellow tint to this gelatin. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's so white. It's beautiful. It's white as snow. It's even better than I expected it to be. There is no yellow in this. It matches the light bulb perfectly. My expectations have been exceeded. This is amazing. We did it. We did it, guys. Now, before we move on, I need to figure out how we're gonna make this light bulb light up. Do you wear clothes or know someone who does? Well, get yourself some more by heading over to shop.sideserfcakes.com. That's where you can get some Sideserf Cake Studio clothes. We also have coffee mugs, stickers, beach towels, all kinds of stuff. I'll put a link below so you don't get lost on your way to the store. And now back to the cake. So, hear me out. I had these little light bulbs that I used on a previous cake. It was actually a really cute cake of King Boo. I made his crown light up. So I'm gonna try to use one of these. And I'm hoping that one of these tiny light bulbs is enough light that it actually illuminates the gelatin. It's a very tiny light, so I don't know if this is gonna work. But, you know, this seems like my best option. So I'm filling up the mold with my very, very white gelatin, and I'm just placing that little light right in there. This is great because it's kind of just suspended in that gelatin. It's not even sinking to the bottom. It's looking pretty good. Now I just need to let this gelatin firm up with the light in there, and hopefully this all works out. Let's set it aside. I really want this cake to work. I love the idea of cutting into a light bulb. It's so like, ugh. I hope this gelatin works. And the light. I don't even know if the light's gonna work. This happens to me every time I try a new product out. I've never used this brand. Everything should run smoothly. This is gonna be great. But as it turns out, every brand is a little different, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because if you try a brand and you don't like that brand, you try a new brand and maybe it's different and it actually gives you a solution. Like with that gelatin, that is some white gelatin and all my other gelatin was yellow. It's very exciting. The bad thing about using a new brand is that you don't know it that well. Maybe that brand doesn't work the same way the other brands do. So that's what I'm dealing with today. So to smooth that edge out, I microwaved a plate so that it's nice and warm. Now I'm just melting the edge, and look at that. That's nice and smooth. It's a perfect straight line. That is exactly what we wanted. Let's move on. I'm not wearing a watch. Just gotta wait for that gelatin. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. Looks good. I'm gonna take the little light out to make this a bit easier. Ooh, there's some stuff on the light. That's kind of weird. I'm cutting the mold to make this a little easier to pop out. Hey, not bad. Let's pick it up and just, what is happening? Why is this so soft? It's just falling apart in my it's literally falling apart in my hands. That's not like any gelatin I've ever used. I read the directions. I don't know what I did wrong, but this is just like mush. There is no way I could work with that. So I'm thinking that maybe I didn't use enough of the powder. So maybe I just need to add more of that gelatin powder. So when it sets more firm like a gummy candy. This seems reasonable. Now, I used quite a bit of powder here, so I really hope this works. To fill this light bulb, I'm using what I call cake dough. It's the same stuff that cake balls are made of. I just mix some buttercream with some cake crumbs, and you have this like really nice texture. It's cake mixed with buttercream, and it has the consistency of like raw cookie dough. And let me tell you, I love raw cookie dough. The kind without the eggs so that you don't get sick from it. You know, like you can buy it at the store. So I'm placing layers of buttercream and cake dough into my light bulb. The reason I decided to use cake dough instead of cake is because this is a really tiny space, which means it'd be really hard to get some cake in there. I'd have to like try to carve it into the light bulb shape and then like shove it in. It would have been really difficult. So we've got our cake portion of this cake. Fits nicely, nothing cracked, it's looking good. Now let's paint it a little, spruce it up a bit. You know what? I'm feeling pretty good about this cake. We've had our ups and our downs, but I really think that it's starting to come together. Painting this silver and black end is really making it look more realistic. It's coming together. We're getting really close to the end here. And I can't wait to cut this one. Like, I love cutting all my cakes, but this one is just gonna be so good. We are about to find out. But first, we have to assemble the top and the bottom. Let's finally bring the two together. All right, so I'm putting the light into the cake first, making sure it's on. And now I can place the gelatin top on there. What am I doing wrong? How can this be? Why isn't it working like gelatin? What is this stuff? Look at this. That doesn't say gelatin. That says gel dessert. Okay, I gotta get it together. I'm not giving up on this one. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm making some gelatin the way I know how. And yes, it is going to have a yellow tint because gelatin has a yellow tint. Sometimes light bulbs are warm. I still think that it's gonna look good. So it's not that white color that I wanted, but I know it's gonna hold its shape. And it's gonna look like glass or plastic in this case. But the real question is the little light that I'm gonna place in there gonna shine through? Is this light bulb cake gonna look like it's glowing? Like a light bulb? Now that the gelatin's hard, I'm cutting out a little chunk of that gelatin so I can place the light in there. All right, let's give this another try. Will this light bulb light up? And there you have it, a light bulb cake. Look at it, it does light up. It's a little on the dim side, and yes, it is warm lighting, but it lights up. We did it, we totally did it. What a roller coaster of a cake. Even though it didn't work out exactly as planned, I'm really glad that I tried something new. And now we finally get to cut it. Let's cut the cake. Yes! It looks awesome! And of course, we gotta take that little light out. Can't eat the light. If you liked this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for a brand new cake every week. And I'll see you next week for another cake.